to recap, for those of you who haven't watched the last couple episodes, the top 2 songs in the country right now are 1. A reggae song made by Canadians, and 2. A white person affecting the vocal mannerisms of black people in a highly questionable manner. The time is right.
Informer, you know, say that I'm a stormy, I go blam. I like you boom boom down.
I like it boom boom down. Yeah, the 90s were a good time for rapid fire, hard to karaoke pop jams, but even people who can do It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine from memory without stuttering don't dare to take on Informer. Not only does it go faster than Sonic the Hedgehog on cocaine, the words themselves didn't seem to make any sense. People might have assumed it was because the song was from some foreign country, and they would be right, although that country was a little further north than they realized. They probably expected this to be by some dreadlock Rasta, not a guy who looked like a forgotten 90210 cast member. And his name was Snow, for God's sakes. It was like he went, what's a name that'll get across as quickly as possible that I'm white and Canadian? Snow! Of course! But more than the song itself, what really got me interested in Informer is the parody Jim Carrey did when he was on In Living Color. I caught it on YouTube recently.
Imposter, just a middle-class worker from Toronto.
Now, I thought this was just going to be another send-up of a pop buffoon like they did for Milli Vanilli and Vanilla Ice, but this was a lot more than that.
I should pay my base and start betting out Mary.
The In Living Color writers didn't think this guy was funny. They were offended. To them, Snow was a disgusting minstrel show act who stole and watered down black culture and embodied everything wrong with the hypocritical double standards of a racist society and record industry. Holy shit, that's a lot of heavy stuff to throw on Informer, of all things. I was just looking for Homie the Clown videos, goddamn. I may have bitten off more than I can chew here. And to top it off, I don't actually know that much about reggae. Well, too late to change the topic now. Prepare to licky boom boom down, everyone. What? Snow's real name is Darren O'Brien. He's of Irish descent, and he's from Toronto. He actually says so in his big hit. Not that anyone can tell. Now, he says he got into reggae music because he grew up in public housing in a pretty diverse neighborhood, and a lot of his friends were actually Jamaican immigrants who eventually encouraged him to give music a shot. The name Snow was bestowed on him by his friends because he was a white boy and all, and I think in retrospect they gave him a bad stage name. Because, you know, there was this other white guy with a really white name.
Go white boy, go white boy, go!
Look, the comparison between Snow and Vanilla Ice is pretty unavoidable. They were both white boys making black music. They had stage names that emphasized their whiteness. They even had kind of similar faces. Like, you know, take off the glasses, doof up the hair a bit. He'd make a pretty decent Vanilla Ice decoy. And the sad thing is, I wouldn't call the comparison very fair. Unlike Vanilla Ice, Snow actually did come from the projects. He did have that rough gangsta background. He did a couple stints in jail. And it didn't give him a shred of street cred because Vanilla Ice claimed to have all those things and he was a complete liar, so everyone assumed Snow was lying too. It's really amazing just how much Vanilla Ice ruined being white. God, he sucked. Just the worst man in history. Okay, anyway, one of his DJ friends took him to New York and introduced him to old school rapper MC Shan, and Shan liked him and decided to produce his entire debut album, 12 Inches of Snow. See, it's a pun, because it's a 12-inch record, get it? 12 inches of It's a dick joke, isn't it? 12, I just got that. Now, people call Snow a white rapper a lot. Technically, he's not a rapper, but he was using hip-hop style production and working with rappers, so the shoe kind of fits. And his first single was pretty gangsta. It was about, you know, stabbing people and getting arrested. And fun fact, right after he recorded his part for that song, he did, in fact, get arrested. Isn't that ironic? I don't actually care if it's ironic or not. Stop commenting. Snow went to jail for 8 months in Canada on an old charge. Eventually, other guards and inmates said he was getting played on much music. He said he didn't believe him at first. They probably got him confused with Marky Mark or something, but yeah, it was him. By the time he got out in early 1993, Informer was rocketing up the charts on its way to a #1 spot in the United States. This seems absolutely insane to me now.
Informer, you know, say that I'm a stormy, I go blam. I like you boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a stormy, stab somebody down the lane. I like you boom boom down.
But you know, 1993 was a weird time. The era of dorky, goofy pop novelties like You Can't Touch This and I'm Too Sexy, that was just about over. And hardcore gangsta rap was about to take over completely, like not just in the underground, but like in the mainstream. And Informer hit like right in that window of overlap. Oh, and there was this brief little blip of reggae rap that was happening at the time too. So this could have gotten big at absolutely no other time. Even so, why this? I mean, this isn't just gibberish. Okay, it's not gibberish, it's the slang of another culture that I'm not a part of. But it's a culture he wasn't a part of either. I mean, come on, right? The only lyrics anyone knows from this is the licky boom boom down, which sounds like a little kid trying to swear. Everything else is a mystery. It's going too fast. Slow it down. And MTV did recut this video with actual subtitles, but even they didn't seem able to keep up. Detective Man said daddy. There's some words missing there, I swear to God. Detective Man said Peter Piper picked up boo. According to what I read, Informer licky boom boom down means something like I'm gonna kick that snitch's ass. In Living Color said that Snow got away with it because he was white. I think it's more because no one knew what he was saying. Matter of fact, if you do know the words, it's actually softer than you realize. He gets arrested for a stabbing in the song, but he never says that he did it. And he never takes revenge on the informer, he just threatens to. The first half of the song is just about him getting arrested. In fact, it's the only gangsta song I've ever heard where the narrator gets his anus probed. Yeah, not so hardcore. Licky boom boom down indeed. And the second half is just him calling his girlfriend and clarifying that he is, in fact, not black. I feel a little at a loss. I'm not Jamaican. I don't know if he's using any of these slang terms correctly or not. It sounds convincing enough to me. Doesn't sound disrespectful in any case. It doesn't make me offended. It's just... Dude, that's not how you sound! We know that's not how you sound! You don't talk like that! Your parents don't talk like that! It sounds fake! You're a fake! No one buys it!
You're a phony! Hey everybody! This guy's a great big phony!
And when you're trying to be a hard-ass gangsta, the one unforgivable crime is being unconvincing. And besides, look, I didn't have to know his skin color to tell you this is some washed-out sellout reggae. Even compared to like Maxi Priest, he sounded like sellout pop. Like, who's gonna say this is their favorite song? Anyone? Why would they? It is, like so many songs I cover, not anything that really resonates. It's just a catchy, stupid novelty to be enjoyed for a few months before evaporating into thin air. Too bad no one informed him of that. I actually started off my research by listening to Snow's first album, and I got to one song where I was like, please, oh please, let this have been the next single. And sure enough,
Girl, I've been hurt and now I need another lover. You are no girl, I've been hurt and now I need another lover.
even in a world without Vanilla Ice and where no one cared about his skin color or where he was from, I think this would have been enough to kill his career. Now technically this was a hit, number 19 on Billboard, which might actually make it worse because that means people actually saw this. You don't let your first hit be about stabbing police informants and then you follow it up with Girl, I've Been Hurt.
Been acting kinda strange lately, but I already know what's been going on.
Like, I didn't mind his voice on Informer, but his slow romantic singing voice is just, it's just whiny. It actually does remind me of Vanilla Ice. And also, look at this. There is no way to look cool and hip in the backwoods Canadian tundra. Ask Rousdower. I mean, it's nice that he wants to rep for Canada, but I think that was a huge mistake. No one thinks of Canada as a hotbed for urban music. Like, Canada let Tom Green have a rap career up there. That's true. We as Americans have this impression of Canada as this clean, magical place without poverty, crime, major cities, or any other culture besides boring white people. That isn't true at all, but that's the impression. You say you come from the mean streets of Canada, unless you mean you took some rough checks in hockey, an American will just laugh. Of course, I mean, that was back then. Now that Drake's gotten big, he is bestowing onto Toronto all his hardcore, dirty gangsta street. Couldn't finish that sentence. But there is a reason this was filmed in Canada. He couldn't leave the country. Yeah, remember I said about the arrests? Snow said it was just for a couple bar fights, but that meant he couldn't get a green card. He couldn't even cross the border. Sucks for him. He did release a couple other singles from this album, but none of them charted. It's hard to get your song on the charts when you literally can't promote it in America, the biggest market for it. And look, the shelf life for pop rappers in the 90s was pretty bad. And even at his biggest, no one really bought into Snow. Even for a white guy, he didn't look the part with his dorky, hipster, wire-rimmed glasses. Dude, you look like you're angry because you were up all night doing research for your grad thesis. Look, Canada looks after their own. The radio stations are literally required by law to play a certain percentage of Canadian artists. So as you can imagine, in his home country, Snow did not very well. His next 2 albums tanked, even in Canada. It's not like he ever stopped recording by any means, he just never really found an audience again. If you want a good index into how far his star fell, over the course of the 6 albums he recorded after Informer, he was nominated 3 times by the Canadian Music Awards for Best Reggae Recording, and lost. All 3 times, there was better Canadian reggae than Snow. It wasn't all bad news. He developed a major following in Japan, of course, and also he once scored a #1 hit in, you'll never guess, Jamaica. Yeah. I mean, it was a remix version that had actual Jamaican superstars like Buju Banton and Beanie Man on it, but no, still this guy, putting on a fake patois only marginally better than Miss Cleo, had a #1 hit in Jamaica. For what it's worth, he did notch a couple more hits in his home country in the early 2000s, and he still recorded some like party jams too. And you know what? Nothing says party hip-hop like the Trailer Park Boys.
What do you mean? You didn't put me on the list. That's what I'm doing. I had to try.
My God, this is Canadian. Also, his wife died of cancer in 2009, tragically, and since then he mostly does work for charity, so don't you feel bad watching some jackass who's never accomplished anything make fun of him on the internet. Well, no, not really. I found Snow a lot less hateable than his reputation would suggest. He wasn't nearly the obnoxious, incompetent twerp that Vanilla Ice was, and is. And Snow was in fact very respectful of the art form he co-opted. He recorded many times in Jamaica, and I never thought his love of reggae was shallow or insincere. But I don't know, Snow is not a guy I'd really want to stick my neck out for, you know? Like the fake accent, man, it's hard to get around. Licky Boom Boom down, what are you supposed to do with that?